What is good, Cardano fam, ADA gang? We have lots of exciting updates to unpack today, including Larry Fink super bullish on crypto, Joe Rogan, yes, Lex Fridman talking about Cardano last year on the Joe Rogan podcast, and more. So hit that subscribe, hit that like. Cardano ADA 24-hour trading volume surpasses $350 million. Did you know Cardano was mentioned on the Joe Rogan Experience? Yes, this was last year with Lex Fridman, but a recent upload, a re-upload to YouTube. Of course, Spotify is where you see all the fresh stuff, but nonetheless, they discuss it. And they talk about SBF and how he's troll, but a nice, clear differentiator between like the blue chip projects. Have a look.
Yeah, cryptocurrency in general. There's a lot of cryptocurrency projects, Bitcoin, Ethereum, Cardano. There's a bunch of them. You should talk to some of them.
Lex Fridman very optimistic in that podcast, looking forward and making some analogies to like musicians that were fudded. And so obviously Joe Rogan, like Cardano's on his radar. And this was at 1 hour, 35 minutes. If you guys find it with Lex Fridman, you'll see it on YouTube. We'll continue. David G. Charles advocating for Solana in Argentina. And this, again, this is great because I like welcoming other networks, not just making it us, the one and only, right? How we see with Bitcoin maxis.
So that's what I advocate for Argentina. I'd like to see a little bit of Cardano and a bit of Hashgraph and a bit of Bitcoin and a bit of Ethereum and Algorand and Polkadot and even Base. There's a place for Base, a little bit of all these guys, there. And actually we can use Solana, for things that have to fail, so everything can be together.
No, it's all jokes, but it's all part of the narrative. You know what I'm saying? When we consider what was said on Steve-O, safe and secure, and then even with Lex Fridman last year with Joe Rogan, separating the differentiator between like Bitcoin, ETH, Cardano. Guys, these are all part of narrative. This is classic conditioning and part of narrative. And I like that these guys like David, shout out to him for bringing Charles on, but Charles is welcoming other chains. I think the future is cross-chain, guys. It's as simple as that.
I got to put that knife in there a little bit, but everything can be together and everybody be happy, and then the whole world can look at that and say, holy shit, Argentina's economy is growing 20% per year.
And you know what? Shout out to Argentina. They took the W yesterday, last night. What a long soccer game that was, or football. That's really the proper connotation. The real football. And shout out to them. I think Argentina is going to have a nice renaissance with their economy. And Cardano's going to play a big role. Luke Belmar, act accordingly. So Larry Fink coming out talking about, the back and forth of being like bearish on crypto, but then he changed his mind. Let's have a listen because this is all part of the narrative, guys. This is all the garnish going into the massive catapult of Q4 and beyond.
Now, I know you have been a leader in willing to embrace crypto. You have made it so that people can be in Bitcoin. We hear that you are thinking about Ethereum. These are incredible things. Now, Blackrock is not known as a gunslinger by any means, so you obviously must believe that this maybe is an alternative. Is this an alternative in order to be able, because of a deficit, maybe something long-term people should have?
Absolutely. As you know, I was a skeptic.
Yes.
I was a proud skeptic. And I studied it, learned about it, and I came away saying, okay, my opinion 5 years ago was wrong. Here's my opinion today. This is what I believe in today. I believe the opportunity today. I believe Bitcoin is legitimate. I'm not trying to say there's not misuses like everything else, but it is a legitimate financial instrument that allows you to have maybe uncorrelated, non-correlated type of returns. I believe it is an instrument that you invest in when you're more frightened, though. It is an instrument when you believe that countries are debasing their currency, debasing their currency by excess deficits.
Yo, shout out to this guy, man, Chad. Like, think of him or whatever you will with whatever narrative, but like to say publicly, like, hey, I was wrong. I looked back. I proudly was wrong, and then I took a look. I was objective. I was sensible. It takes a lot to reflect, guys. It takes a lot to reflect and be like, maybe I got a rose-tinted lens on right now. So I like Larry Fink. As much as people keep conspiring, I like that at least, like, what's the alternative? That he just says it's all scam? And notice he's still he's malleable in the sense of saying that a lot of people go into it when they feel like there's fear and the debasement of currencies, but at the same time calling it a legitimate financial instrument. Speaks volumes.
And some countries are. I believe we have countries where you're frightened of your everyday existence, and if you have an opportunity to invest in something that is outside your country's control, then you can have more financial control. And so I'm a major believer that there is a role for Bitcoin in portfolios. I believe you're going to see that as one of the asset classes that we all look at. I look at it as digital gold, as I said before, and I do believe there's a real need for everyone to look at it as one alternative to, I would say, the optimism that I have in the world. If you want to hedge hope, Bitcoin is not an instrument for hope unless you're hopeful you're going to make a lot of money on it. But I look at it as a vehicle in which you're expressing your financial acumen in something that you're more frightened of the world, you're more frightened of your existence. And I believe there's a great industrial use for it. And I think a lot of people are missing that.
I couldn't agree.
I agree mostly with him. I think maybe a little bit is delving too much into the fear, but well-rounded message. I think it makes sense, everything that he's saying. The industrial, we haven't even tapped into the rest. No mention of like altcoins and whatnot here, but it's evident that Larry Fink we're probably going to see ETFs launch left and right. Solana, we already got crazy good Cardano ETPs in Europe. So I think that we're not too far out, guys, from seeing like the United States and big institutions also trying to do some United States ETF type beat. We'll see what happens. And this is also good because it's signaling, like Larry Fink's like, yep, green light, green light, green light. Kramer's like, green light, green light, green light. We actually, these events that have unfolded still are true to what I said about that post Bitcoin having slight bearishness, jitter. Lo and behold, we're up 20% on Cardano. We'll look at price to the end of the video. And it's great to hear this optimism from Larry Fink.
More, I changed my mind about it when you did. You had been my thinking. It was like, you don't believe it, so I can't believe it. I want to thank Larry Fink for the message of
Yo, and it's like, we think about Kramer when he was talking about the bonk ETF to Gary and shilling his security. Look how quickly things change in like 1 year. We went to crypto's a scam, to Kramer shilling Cardano and calling it Cardanzi, and Larry Fink being optimistic. What a time to be alive.
Optimism.
Thanks.
And also for a great quarter. Larry Fink is the co-founder, chairman, and CEO of Blackrock, I think the most important investment company in the world.
So guys, like, listen to the guys with the money, man. You know, there's gonna be crazy voices. Oh, he's evil. He's this. It's like, bro, like, follow the money. I'm a snake. So SNEK, I saw this, is now available on a top exchange, Swyftx. So apparently this is a massive exchange in Australia, if I'm not mistaken. Yes, the crypto exchange built by Aussies for Aussies. This is fantastic news, and maybe this can be a stopgap to finally give SNEK the well-deserved Binance listing, because why not? This is great. And as always, guys, everything's linked below in the description. New category, Layer 2, TapTools. A fabulous dashboard, love it. Now verified on TapTools. We see a quote retweet from Sky Protocol for them, like adding the Layer 2 on Cardano. I got to dive deeper into this, but there's a new category. TapTools continues to do better. I see lots of UX improvements almost daily with the apps, and it's unheard of, guys. Like, it's unheard of in a lot of other altcoins. Governance, interoperability, and scaling will bring another 10x, says Stake with Pride. I think it's easy. It's possible. I tweeted today that like passing $3 is light work. We got to $3 with like no smart contract. Like Sunday swap was just coming, and I think it's very, very doable. Very probable. Very probable. I don't think it's too out of the way. Huawei. It's not the first time we saw Huawei, and of course, EMURGO is a founding entity with Cardano. There's going to be a bunch of campaigns going on to bring some more exposure to this, which is nice. They're doing a special space to discuss the latest updates from their partnership to broaden Cardano's ecosystem. So I'll wait and see, and I'll take it with a grain of salt. But I know Sheldon, head of Cardano ecosystem for EMURGO, recently said he's never been this bullish, and tons of stuff are around the corner, guys. I think partnerships, more of them, more stable coins. I think it's an exciting time, and if you guys want to join these spaces, everything's linked. Finally, a couple things before we look at price. Minswap has been delivering tons of updates. A huge thank you to everyone who's reported bugs and shared feedback. Your input is invaluable. We are working tirelessly to fix issues and roll out more features. Here's a quick rundown of the latest fixes and ongoing progress. So lots of good stuff. Fixed price data on trade is now updated frequently. Fixed trading history on mobile view. Fixed the price is now less rounded. A lot of this seems to be user experience, user interface. Header menu now is available on iPad. Wallet transaction now always sends tokens to the correct connected wallet address. New additions added vesting and mint conversion on portfolio for better UX. Price on the browser tab is back on Minswap v2. Some Android performance improvements. I like that. Rolling that out to Google Play. LP and wallets. They're investigating reports of LPs and wallets not being recognized. So they're working on this. And then a couple more finally. Eternal Android app issues with accessing Minswap on the Eternal wallet are partially fixed. And so we should see some improvements to Android very soon. And then finally, migration bot update. The migration bot faced some issues yesterday due to running out of funds, which we cover for migration fees. This is now fixed, and an alerting system has been added to prevent future occurrences. Speaking of migration, yeah, that's one thing is like DEXs, you know, AMMs, when it comes to like people moving from like a V1, V2, V3, I like stuff like this. If the more people can incentivize and like make migrations like painless, the better. Finally, Melon says the amount of quality stuff that is currently building on Cardano is unbelievable. I agree. We have it all. Infrastructure behemoths, DeFi projects, solid decentralized exchanges, meme coin brands, and a great wallet user experience. Guys, it is just a matter of time. Speaking of time, it's time to look at price. So if you haven't already, guys, smash the subscribe, smash the like. We're getting closer to 5K subs. I appreciate you guys' support. And we are up. Look at this chart, bro. That's some, like, I like that. I like that chart. You know what I'm saying? They say ghost chain. Like, but, bro, like, what do you mean, bro? What do you mean, bro? Like, what other chain is being name dropped here? What other chain just got named on? It's not EOS. It's not one of those 50 other wacko projects. There's great altcoins, and Cardano is one of the great altcoins. Arguably, in my opinion, like, top. But back to price, I think that we still don't know. We saw in the past 1 week, like, all the crazy surprises. Larry Fink now, Kramer. You know, I think a lot more people are going to showcase confidence and optimism in crypto because those guys lead with authority and others kind of, like, will be socially relatable and they'll do it also. So I think that we're going to have jitter. We may see these low prices again. It's so easy for us to surpass the previous all-time high. And I say that as a pessimistic bull, like a cautious bull. But I continue to watch the market because I don't think we're completely out of these like lower ranges yet. Summer has not been too fruitful for our cycles, the past 2 cycles, but anything is possible. The history doesn't always repeat itself in the exact same way. So moving forward, I think that if we come down to these levels, it's a no-brainer for me. If we touch 3.6 or 3.2, I'm going to be scooping up some more. It's good to keep some stables on the side just in case for moments like this. But as we see, right, just from the 7-day chart going up 20%, it's very easy for the price to climb. And all it needs is the right narrative, and we can see that that is happening. What has transpired in the past few days and what will head on from here will really be pivotal to create like an ultra catapult. And it's cyclical. The narratives, though, they just kind of augment and multiply the excitement or fear in whichever direction. So what a beautiful time to be alive with the altcoin season, everything going on right now. I think, guys, we may see Larry Fink dive into Cardano. He sounds like a guy that really values like governance and like ownership and like give me more of that, give me that. And I know like you could play devil's advocate of like, no, it'll ruin governance, it'll ruin that. But like when it comes to price go up, I think we may see some American ETFs and Solana may be the spearhead for that. And I really like that David and Charles, like Charles is welcoming of the other spaces and adds some comical flair. We can all get along. We can both be right at the same time. And I think Cardano has a beautiful narrative set out for itself. And we see that time and time again. So guys, hit the sub, hit the like. I'll see you guys in the next Angry Crypto Show.